Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. This time I'm going to show you how to defeat Romina, Saint of the Bud, in the ancient ruins of Rau. This boss looks scarier than she is, however you do want to bring some boluses to cleanse yourself of Scarlet Rot. I know Scarlet Rot is probably giving you guys some PTSD flashbacks in Malenia, but it's really not that bad in this fight, and you have a huge arena to get out of any Scarlet Rot clouds that may pop up. Okay, the build itself really doesn't matter that much. She doesn't seem to be weak to much, but having a bleed weapon like a katana is helpful. She is susceptible to bleed, so any bonus damage is good. This area is really confusing, but you will eventually stumble upon this boss. This is a mandatory boss in the DLC, so just keep adventuring through the ruins and eventually you'll stumble upon this. Okay, so for the fight in Phase 1, there's not a ton of abilities that the boss has that can build up Scarlet Rot. All of them are tied to her staff whenever it glows pink like that. The butterflies are a key for Phase 2, so we'll talk about that more in a little bit. This move right here, where the boss balls up both the scorpion tails and the, centipede tail, I guess that thing is. Whenever she balls up, you want to wait for her to hit the ground and then get close to you while rolling. For this ability right here, where she flies up in the air and hovers, you want to look at her stinger. And on that stinger, there will be a glow or a glint. There's also an audio cue for it, which I found easier to react to than the visual one. But as soon as that glint happens or you hear the ping of that glint, that's when you want to roll to the side and you'll dodge that move no problem. She has a pretty high recovery time from that move, so you should be able to get a few hits in. That move right there where she twirls the spear, it's going to be a forward hit. The most difficult thing about this boss is sort of the positioning. She is what the camera targets. However, all of this boss is a hitbox, so you can always deal damage no matter where you're standing or what you're touching. But the camera kind of doesn't really know how to deal with this kind of boss, so it's a little annoying. But as long as you stay like right next to her while you're dealing damage, you should be fine. That move right there is a grab, and it's a pretty deadly one. Whenever you see the centipede head start to clack its pincers, it's very, very slight. It's hard to see. It's not like a falling star beast where you can hear it and the pincers are huge. The pincers on that centipede are not big at all. But whenever you see them clack, get ready for it to lunge toward you, and then it's going to grab you. So just be very careful with that move. Same thing with the scorpion stinger there. That move right here, that is also sort of a grab. That will deal a lot of damage to you. So whenever you see the tails start to like stare directly at you, that's when a grab attack is coming. Okay, for this phase transition, you want to back away from the boss, and all these butterflies are going to explode as they fall and deal Scarlet Rot damage. So use the arena to your advantage, get out of there, and just get away from any butterflies that you might be near. If you get hit by 1 or 2 explosions, it's not the end of the world. Just make sure you're at full health when that transition starts, and you should be fine and have a bolus ready to cleanse yourself of it. The boss more or less does the same thing in Phase 2. She does seem to get a bit more aggressive. However, she now has these butterfly abilities. This one, all you got to do is just back out, and then she has another one where she will send like a string of butterflies towards you, and then you just got to like run to the side to avoid that. She does have a combo where she will swing her spear, and then when you dodge it the first time, there will be like a backspin on it. And that one always clips me, so it's really important that you dodge in one direction once and then another direction the second time, so either right, left, or left, right, and then you should be able to avoid it for that second hit. So you saw there, that was the string of butterflies. I didn't avoid that one, I just sort of ran into it, so the Scarlet Rot did start building up. But whenever you see butterflies, try to run to the side. You got to try to find an out from that sort of vicinity, but it's hard to tell which one she's doing, either the large batch of butterflies that almost fills the entire arena versus just a string of them that you can kind of run out of. It's very similar to Aztel in the sense that she's just putting a cloud in front of her, and sometimes that cloud gets bigger and then it explodes. Also very similar to Elden Beast from the base game as well. I just thought of that. So again, here's the grab. Just avoid that slam. It's tough to do because it does have such a wide hitbox, but as long as you roll at the last possible second, you should be able to avoid it, no problem. All right, for this ability here, she does a couple of sweeping strikes and then slams down in the end, but leaves butterflies behind. So that one can be tough to avoid. This is the butterfly string. You see that it comes sort of in one direction. It starts with a circle around her, and then she pushes it towards you, and then you just got to run to the side and a little further away from the boss, and you're good to go. You saw there, that was the glint followed by the audio cue. You just got to roll out of the way for that, no big deal. This first sweeping strike has the backswing, that's the one that I'm talking about. It can be really tough to dodge that second hit. That's the grab right there. It does come back around a second time in phase 2, so be very, very careful with that. The tails are more active in phase 2, it seems, so you really have to try your best to pay attention to them along with everything else the boss is doing. Easier said than done, I know. That's the string again. Now we have the big one. I'm kind of running into the string here, but managed to get out of it in the end. You don't want to follow the string like I did. That was kind of dumb. I was not necessarily panicking at that time, but I was really trying to figure that out. That backswing right there, I always have a really difficult time dodging that. That's why I was saying you'll want to dodge in one direction for the first one and then a second direction for the other one. You should be able to avoid it no problem if you're doing that. This sweep seems to just go right over my head, so you don't even have to dodge that one. I think it's more meant to just catch you if you're standing at any sort of distance. But if you're staying really, really close to her, like I recommended in the beginning, you shouldn't have too much difficulty dealing with it. A lot of this boss's abilities as she's sweeping, only the spear is actually active. The rest of the boss really isn't doing much, so it's not like if you touch the feet of the centipede or if you touch the tail of the stinger or of the scorpion, you're going to take damage. It's really not like that. As long as you stay in the middle with this boss or in the middle of her sort of flesh body, I don't know what exactly you want to classify this thing as, you should be fine. You can dodge most of the physical attacks from her spear, and that's really just the tail you got to worry about and the butterflies. That's about it. So I'll let the rest of the fight play out from here on out. There's really not much else to say. She just kind of keeps rinsing and repeating from here, and she will eventually go down. All right, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more guides for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new guides go live. If you're interested in supporting the channel monetarily, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below this video. You can also leave a super thanks by clicking the heart icon below this video. Don't forget to join my community Discord. The link for that is in the description below. As always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.